Okay, welcome. It's been 8 months since I made my last vlog, and I am very happy to be back. Some sweet person left a comment on one of my videos and asked to see what I've been up to, which thank you so much. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the kindness. So I thought I would come back, and it feels really good to be back. So hopefully I'll be able to be doing this more consistently. I would really love that. If you have been here before, thanks for coming back. If you're new here, I'm Kelly. I am a mama of two very feral children. I am a quilt pattern designer, and I am all around fiber obsessed person. Maybe you can relate. You know what I'm talking about? On this channel, I'm mostly going to be talking about my knitted things. I will sprinkle in a few quilt things, maybe if I'm working on a new pattern, and maybe a few other things. But I mean, this is like mainly quilting, or mainly, mainly knitting. So if you want to geek out with me on all fiber related knitty kind of things, please subscribe so we can chat often because I would love to see you here. I am currently drinking a very exciting cup of honey lemon water. We've got a cold going around in the house, as do I'm sure most people who live in the Northern Hemisphere, and it just won't quit. It just won't quit. So my throat hurts, and here I am. But we're going to be good. Today I want to talk about all the things that I have knitted this year for the most part. Like I said, I haven't made a vlog in 8 months. I think my last one was in March. And before then I knitted like 3 things. And I've already talked about them in those vlogs, and I'm not going to talk about it again. That one was the Winter's Beach Cardi by Andrea Mowry. The other one was a classic ribbed hat by Pearl Soho that does not need its own video. And then the other one was a christening gown that I made my friend's child that was a saga in itself. If you want to hear more about that, I will put a link. The video will pop up. I don't know. You'll be able to find it. I'm not going to cover any of those items. And if you want to hear about them, reference the other videos. I don't have very many of them. So I'm pretty sure you'll be able to find them. I'm going to carry on everything that comes after that up until this point. I also want to mention what my measurements are. A lot of what I've knitted have been garments, and I think it's very helpful to understand what somebody's measurements are. I know that's not always easy for everyone to share, and I totally respect that. I don't mind sharing mine, and it might help you all decide whether you want to make something, what size you want to make, how you want to make it, etc. So my measurements generally for this year, give or take a half inch, have been 36 inches for my bust, 30 inches for my waist, and 41.5 inches for my hips. So just for your information. Okay, let's jump in after this. This chair, yeah, you hear that? It makes some farty noises. So excuse that and don't blame me. The first object that I have to show you, the first finished object for this year, was the Yun sweater by fiskum Sunde. I talked about this in my last vlog. It was a whip and now it's finished. I adore this sweater. Show it to you before I talk about the details. I'm also going to put a video of me wearing the things over here because I just don't want to get up and change every minute. So I'm going to do that all at the end, and then I'll put a video when I'm talking about it so you can see it here. But I'll show you this as well. I love this sweater. I would absolutely knit it again. It's a wonderful raglan sweater. These like ribbed increases, and I mean really this sweater is all about the ribbing because it's got a huge rib edge with a split hem that basically starts at your ribs, and it is so fun to wear. It is so cozy. Obviously this looks worn because it's worn heavily. It's basically my house sweater and I love wearing it. By the way, I will talk about what I'm wearing later. So I knit this on US 7 and 8 needles with sandnes garn Kos, which I think is a worsted weight. I can't remember. I think it's a worsted weight. Color 2390. And this knit up real quick, real easy. Sandnes Garn Coast is a blown yarn. It's mostly alpaca, I think with a little polyester or nylon as the casing. So it was a gifted yarn to me, which I'm so thankful for. And it probably wasn't like the best choice to like really show off this ribbing because it kind of like squishes down, it flattens down. It doesn't have a lot of bounce to the yarn, but it is really light and it is really cozy. And I knew that going into it. I knew that the ribbing probably wouldn't stand out the way it's probably meant to be, and I was okay with it. I had the yarn in my stash and I was like, it's fine. I also was hopeful that it would be a very durable yarn, even though it's blown, so it doesn't have the twist holding it together. It's blown with like a nylon or polyester encasing, so I thought that would make it more durable. And then alpaca in general is a longer staple length, so that would make it more durable. And it has been. I mean, I wear this thing to bed sometimes. I mean, this has probably gotten, I wear this probably like 5 times a week in the house, and it has held up very well. Yeah, the pattern was super enjoyable to knit. I would actually really, I'm not typically one that wants to re-knit patterns. My ADD brain craves some some unique things, newness. I love some newness, but I probably would knit this again because I just use it all the time and I love wearing it. I would actually like it in like a brighter color, a more fun color, because sometimes I wear this with a pair of brown leggings. So brown with brown leggings and this Sophie. So this is the Sophie scarf and it's knit with an alpaca yarn from Green Mountain Spinnery. I forget what it's called. Alpaca elegans. That's what it's called, which is excellent. Excellent yarn. Anyway, with that whole outfit together with all those browns, I feel like I'm straight out of Star Wars, you know? So I think I would like a more fun version of this. But anyway, that's all I got to say about the Yoon sweater. If you're thinking about it, knit it, go for it. Oh, notes. I added an extra 6 stitches under the arm just because I didn't want anything to feel tight, and I would do that again. I think that fits me really nicely. I don't remember what size I knit, but I have the sizes for all my other things. I think probably 3. I usually knit a size 3. So I probably knit the size 3. Maybe it was the 2 because this yarn grew quite a bit. It was either a 2 or 3. Anyway, that's that. My next thing that I made is the Stella quilt cushion by Laura Penrose. I'm not going to show you the back because I did knit the back, but I was like done. I was done. You're supposed to, I was knitting like the envelope cover, and I got about a quarter way done with the envelope cover in the back, and I was like, I'm done with this. And so I put buttons on it, and it's just like, it could look better, you know? So I'm not gonna show you that. But I also need a better pillow insert for this, but it is what it is. I made this. I actually made this during the time that we lost my eldest dog back in, I think it was April. And I had her since I was a sophomore in college. And it was before my husband Ryan and I met, a year before we met. And yeah, she was 15 years old. And it was just like, it was a hard loss. And this was a very comforting thing to work on because it was very simple. You work on this in little squares, which makes it very portable and easy. And it's just, you're just knitting back and forth. The directions are wonderful on it. She walks you through everything to make it feel very, very simple. Anyway, it was a very comforting knit during that time. I used a US 6 needle on this, and I used Knitting for Olive merino and marzipan for this color. And then I use Sandnes Garn Double Sunday in 3553 Dusty Rouge for this color. And you can tell which one's standing up better. The Knitting for Olive is definitely standing up to use way better than the Double Sunday is. So just take that for what you want to take it for. Because I have detailed this many times, and it's always the sandnes garn, the double sunde, that needs to be detailed, not the knitting for olive. And they're both merino. They're both fingering weight merino yarns. So there's some information for you. Would I knit this again? Probably at some point, but not anytime soon, just because I like knitting garments mostly. So I just don't have a desire. But it was a really wonderful pattern, and it makes such a unique thing. It's fun. Fun, fun, fun. Okay. The next thing that's up is the Amedeo blouse 2.0 by Johanna Gehrisch. I think that's how you say it. I will again put a video of myself wearing it. Please excuse the creases in this. But it's an all over lace like vest, basically. I used it as a top over like a cami. And with a button band. I use Knitting for Olive Pure Silk in Sunflower, and I actually had used that in another pattern. I can't remember. I made a video on it. I can't remember what the pattern was. It was a free pattern. It was a top that had a really deep V, and I just didn't wear it. And so I ripped that out and used that yarn to make this vest, and I'm really glad I did because this is way more fun. And I would wear it a lot. So in the pattern, you put buttons. You have, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buttons. I think that I probably wouldn't put a button up at the top. And just have the button start here. Or maybe just like, yeah. Because I just never wanted to button that top button, personally. Let's see. I made a size small. At least that's what it said on my Ravelry page. But I feel like they don't go by small. But anyway, I made a size small. Needles US 2.5, Knitting for Olive Pure Silk. Yeah. And you should be seeing a video of me wearing it. The pattern repeat was like very easy. I didn't need to follow the pattern. Like once you can read your own knitting, then you don't really need to follow a pattern because you understand where to do the yarn overs and whatnot to make the lace. And so it was very easy to read and memorize, and even though it's lace, it felt kind of like a mindless knit. So that was fun. Okay, next in line is the Sailor Swift top by Veronica Lindbergh. This was so fun, and I would definitely love to knit this again. I definitely made it a bit cropped. I'm still thinking about, adding a little bit of length to the ribbing, to be honest, because my skin shows like a little bit, and not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just like what I prefer. And I think I would like even just like a half an inch more where it hits my jeans, my high-waisted jeans, in a way that it's like there, but when I move around, it's still not showing any skin. So it's like still cropped. You know what I'm saying? So I have plenty of yarn left to do that, and I think I might do that. I knit a size 3 with US 2.5 needles. I use this white color or off-white, whatever, is a local to me yarn, which is so cool. It's by a farm. It's called Old North Acres in Old Fort, North Carolina. Go check them out. I will link their website for sure. They have beautiful yarns. This one is called Champagne Problems. Yes, because of Taylor Swift. So even more of a reason to go ahead and buy from them. It's 80% BFL, blue face lesser, and 20% alpaca. They don't have alpaca at their farm, but they got fiber from a farm down the road from them. And then they got it spun, I think in Pennsylvania, by a place in Pennsylvania. I can't remember. And y'all, this yarn is excellent. It has stood up so well. I have worn this a lot and have literally never depilled it. And I have worn it a lot. And then the brownish color is Green Mountain Spinnery Lana. They're fingering weight lana, and it was hand dyed by me and my husband Ryan. If you followed along at all, I was in the process of starting a hand dyed studio and have had to just put that on the back burner. It's just not happening right now. But I have some hand dyed yarn from that I get to use. Hooray. I did the edges are an I-cord bind off. At the bottom, it's a ribbing, but around the arms and around the neck, it's an I-cord bind off. And I did the I-cord bind off for the neck first, and I did that tighter than I did the arms. And I kind of wish I had swapped the two. Like, I kind of wish the neck was a little bit looser. I just didn't want it to be like flopping open. And I think I overcompensated. I mean, it's fine, but I just wish it was like a little bit looser. And I wish these were just a little bit more cinched in, because oftentimes this will roll like that, and then you don't even see the I-cord edge. It'll roll in. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I feel like if I did that and it was a little bit more fitted around the arm, it's not loose or anything, maybe that would have fixed that problem. I don't know. Anyway, would I knit this again? For sure. It's a great basic piece. This is how I like my tank tops. And I love that it's local yarn. So fun. Okay, so that's the Sailor Swift top. Hooray! And then this is my first gift knit. I did the First Impression pants. It's a drops design. I heard about it from Inga at the Knitting Traditions podcast. She made a few pairs for her daughter, and I thought one of my really good friends, she was having her third child, and they're really cool because they're in a ribbed baby pant, and it has a rolled top and rolled bottoms, so it stretches a lot. Basically, it can grow with the kid for like a really long time, and I just thought that was wonderful. And I wanted to make something for my friend, but I didn't want to make something that the kid was going to grow out of, or the baby was going to grow out of, like, right away, you know? So I made these pants. I made a size 2. I used US 1.5 needles and US 2.5 needles. I'll put pictures up. I used Green Mountain Spinnery's lana. That was also hand dyed. And man, if I was going to have more kids, which I am not, definitely not. But I would definitely make these. I wish that I had been knitting when my kids were little, because I would have made these a ton. They just make sense. They're a warm pant, and they just grow with you or with the kid. So love that. Would knit again. Would highly recommend it. It's very simple and basic and lovely. And I can't wait to see it on my friend's baby. Next up is this little number. This is Framed by Andrea Mowry. If you live under a rock, no, I'm just kidding. If you don't know what it is, that's totally fine. But it is a very popular pattern. It was a Rhinebeck sweater, and wish I could have made it to Rhinebeck. So this is a wonderful pattern. I mean, it's just beautiful. Quilt blocks are having their moment, and I hope that it never ends. This is the size 3, and yeah, I didn't add any length to it, and so it's cropped. I loved this pattern. Excuse my chair. So this is size 3. I knit it on US 4 and US 6, which I think are a size down from what's in the pattern. I use Harrisville Designs Highland 80 foliage, 15 Linden blue or Loden, and 44 white. And I only did 2 pattern repeats for the sleeves, and I think in the pattern you do 3. I can't remember. This was a wonderful pattern. I enjoyed it so much. I was a little worried that the 3 was going to be too big for me, because it's a drop shoulder sweater, and so you knit it from bottom up, and you're knitting it in a tube basically up until you knit it flat. You kind of split for sleeves, and it felt really big. I didn't want to go down to a size 2 because I was worried that was going to be, I thought it would be fit fine, but I thought it would be uncomfortable because it's a worsted weight yarn with stranded color work. So it's just like thick, and I just didn't want to feel like trapped, I think I probably could have gone down to a size 2, but I like the size 3. I'm really happy with it. And I was also worried about the sleeve being too small, which I think would have been a legitimate concern. And anyway, I am really happy with this sweater. I wear it all the time. And by all the time, I mean multiple times a week. And I love it. The yarn that I used was great. The pattern is made for a superwash yarn, but I was able to use a non-superwash yarn just fine. I would have loved to be there at Rhinebeck. I live just outside of Asheville, and Hurricane Helene hit at the end of September. And if you haven't heard, it really messed up our area. We are fine. Our house is fine, but our community was hit really hard. Anyway, so we were a little preoccupied. So I did not go to Rhinebeck this year, though I did think of it since I'm on the East Coast. Hopefully, maybe next year. Fingers crossed for me. But it would have been so fun to see everybody in a crowd, like this like huge wall of framed sweaters all together. It just feels like such a joyous celebration of making, just pure joy, I would have loved to have been a part of that because this sweater deserves that. It was such a great pattern. And if you've never knit Andrea Mowry patterns, if she is your style, go for it because her patterns are so clear and really walk you through things. And she's got video tutorials for anything that might be confusing for you, or if that's just the way you prefer to learn. Anyway, she's wonderful. Her patterns are wonderful. This pattern was wonderful. I treasure it so much. But that's really all I have to say about it. Would I knit it again? I mean, it's such a unique sweater. I don't know that I need like 2 of them. Do you know what I mean? I'm pretty happy with this one. But pattern-wise, it was an excellent pattern. Okay, next up, so I was gifted some yarns, some sandnes garn yarns, which is wonderful. I talked about that earlier with the coast. I had a few others that were kind of for like kid bits, and I just let my kids, I have a 3-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old daughter, and I let them pick the yarns that they liked and pick out a pattern that they liked that would fit with those yarns. And my youngest picked the Little Missy by Drops Design. It needs length to it. I knit her a size 3. She has a chest circumference of 53.5 centimeters. I could have knit a size 4, I think. And it needs length to it. And I have more yarn, so I can just add length. It's a top-down sweater. I use needle size US 2.5 and US 6. And the yarn is Sandnes Garn Merinoull 2122 yellow. It is a super wash yarn, which I'm not a huge fan of, just normally. And I think that applies here too. But this is like very bouncy and soft. I found it was really easy to split, and it's got, like a ton of plies in it. It's a very multi-plied yarn, and it was kind of easy to split. So that was a little frustrating. I don't have a ton to say about this sweater. I don't know what the white yarn is. I think it might be a Cascade yarn, but it was in my stash. I don't remember. I kind of just feel meh about the sweater. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It was a quick knit. That's all I got to say about it. The next thing that I knit was a gift knit. I do not have it. Hold on. Your girl needs some. This chair is just something. Okay. The next thing that I knit was the Koyo hat by Olga buraya-kefelian. I'm sorry, Olga, for that pronunciation. So my mom's 60th birthday is coming up in February, and I offered to make her lots of different things, but she chose to have a hat for Christmas and gloves for her birthday. And my local yarn shop is Black Mountain Yarn Shop. If you haven't heard of them, look them up. They're great. If you have, they're great. And we were actually headed there to buy yarn for another hat pattern that she had picked out. But when we got there, they had the Koyo hat on display, and my mom was like, scratch it, I want that. And so we picked out it's made with Spincycle plump, and we picked out 2 different colors, eventide and midsommar. I knit a size 2 on US 8 and US 10. needles. This is a brioche hat, and this is my first time doing brioche, and I loved it. I remember people kind of making brioche seem very intimidating. If you have also heard that, don't listen. It was great. I loved it, and I love brioche, and now I'm looking to find some other brioche patterns I can make because I really love the brioche stitch, and I did not find it difficult after watching a video on it. The only weird thing about this pattern is the cast on that Olga has you do. I didn't love that cast on, and I love learning new techniques, but the cast on was very complicated, and it looked the same as the tubular cast on that I ended up doing. So just food for thought if you do end up doing this. I just did a tubular cast on, and it's perfectly fine. Yeah, my mom loves it. It's exactly what she wanted. It's a very happy hat, and it's very squishy, and it looks very warm. So Merry Christmas, Ma. She already has that, even though it's not Christmas yet. She'll bring it back. I'll wrap it up, and we'll all act surprised. Okay. This is my last finished object, whatever, of the year so far. And it is another sweater. Is the sweater for my oldest daughter. She picked out the Ritha sweater by Yvonne B. Thorson. And look how precious. It's already, it's got stuff all over it. These have been used, friends. Look how sweet. This is, my daughter's name is Finley, and it's the most Finley sweater ever. Okay, so there's a little bit of drama with this sweater. I started knitting this sweater right before Hurricane Helene hit, or it was right after Hurricane Helene hit. Anyway, I evacuated with my kids up to Pennsylvania, where my brother lives. Anyway, something happened. I forgot to swatch, and so I started knitting a size, I started knitting a size 3 for my 6-year-old daughter. Well, this yarn, sandnes garn sunde, 4304 plastic pink and 2511 almond. It's clearly it's a light fingering weight yarn, and I got the yoke done. I think I got up to here, and I tried it on my daughter, and I was like, this is way too small. So I had to rip it all out, and I decided because I wanted to use this yarn, so I just knit a size 10 to 12 year, which is the largest size in this pattern. And it fits her perfectly. It worked out totally well. I didn't do the yoke as deep. I did this all normal, but then when it came to the increases here, I increased a little bit more quickly so that the depth of the yoke wasn't as long. And that worked out perfectly. I'm glad I did that. Yeah, I would definitely recommend this pattern. It's very sweet. The color work is just very cute. It took forever to knit because it was a large size and very thin yarn. So my husband is 6'3", and I knit him a sweater last year. And this took about the same amount of time as it did for me to knit him a sweater. Just because it was such thin yarn. And it looks beautiful, though. And she loves to wear it. So that's what matters, right? Okay, that is it for finished objects. Okay, on to the whips. And, oh gosh. Okay. This is really good. At least I think it's really good. I am currently making stockings for my family, and I'm using the Woodland Stockings Big Animals pattern by Allison. I can't read my own handwriting. Allison something. I'll put it on the screen. Isn't this adorable? This is my 6-year-old daughter's. She chose the fox. There is a fox, a moose, an owl, and a bear. So this is the fox, and you do a little I-cord. How sweet is that, guys? This was the most enjoyable knit. And then I'm making, hold on. This is kind of a lot to bring up. Okay, I'm making the moose for my youngest. She chose the moose. So this is in progress. I guess the other stocking is a finished stocking, but I'm including all of this in a whip. I'm making little pine trees down here right now. This is an excellent pattern. Okay, let's get into the details. I'm using a US 6. Look at the like chevron pattern up there. Isn't it so pretty? So USI 6 needle. The yarn is Green Mountain Spinnery Lana. The red is hand dyed and the green is hand dyed by me and my husband. And then the white is the Harrisville Highland 44 white. I'm holding the Lana double and the Highland is a single. Isn't that just so precious? So pretty. I'm having so much fun with that pattern. It's just like really quick. The colorwork chart is beautiful. The pattern is beautiful. It's very easy. Highly recommend. Such a unique stocking pattern. I've been thinking about making stockings for our family for a while, and when I saw this pattern come up, I was like, that's it. We have to get that. So yeah, so my oldest is the fox, my youngest is the moose. My husband wanted the owl, so I'll do green with the owl, and then I'll be the bear that's red. And I just thought it's such a cute way to do stockings. So cute. I will probably not finish mine by Christmas time, which is totally fine. I'm gonna try to finish. I will finish Rowan's, my youngest. I'll try to do my husband's, but I don't know if that'll happen. Anyway, so that's super cute, and I'm having a lot of fun with that. And my only other whip right now, I am making slippers for my brother and his wife. This is another thing I heard about from Inga from the Knitting Traditions podcast. The slippers are, I don't know how to say this, but NR3 Double Topher by Liv Strangeland. But anyway, it's a felted, it's like a double layer felted slipper. So this is wrong. By the way, I'm going to show you this. I was supposed to stop knitting like here. There. What is this? I just wasn't paying attention. I just kept knitting. So I got to rip that back. But basically, like, you knit, like, you'll tuck one into the other. You'll felt it like this. It'll be like 2 feet parts, 2 heel and 2 feet parts. You'll felt it like that, and then you tuck it in. So it's a double layer. I don't know what, I'm probably not getting this terminology right, but you maybe understand what I'm saying. I'll throw up some pictures of what it actually looks like so you understand what I'm talking about. And I've got some scrap pieces of leather that I am going to cut out and sew onto the bottom of these, which I think will be really fun. This pattern calls for sandnes garn, Friedis garn. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's the yarn that I chose. Color is 2335. That's the color that I just showed you. And then there's color 2206. I'll show you once I'm done with them. I will keep you updated on that. I'll probably post some pictures on my Instagram. I'll have that link below if you want to follow me there. I also have a Substack, and I'll definitely post about it on my Substack. I also will link that below in the information area. We're mostly done here. This was a doozy, but I want to mention one more thing, what I would like to knit in the near future. So what am I going to cast on after I'm all done with all these Christmassy things? I only want to mention one thing, even though there are plenty that I want to do. I really want to knit the Oxbow socks by Andrea Mowry. It's a pattern that just came out. It was her knit along pattern for over Thanksgiving. She does this like knit a pair of socks over a weekend kind of thing. I did not obviously take part in that, but I really want to knit these socks. They look like they have a great pattern that will be really durable. They are just really cute. I like them. And also, Black Mountain Yarn Shop got in Les Garçons, a yarn company called Les Garçons, and they have a fingering weight yarn that is Blueface Leicester and Masham. So it's mostly blue-faced Leicester and some Masham. And I think that would be perfect for a natural sock, like a sock without any nylon in it, because blue-faced Leicester has a much longer staple length. It's going to be a more durable yarn. Usually, the more durable yarn is, the rougher it might feel. More rustic. Is that how they say it? It might feel a bit more rustic. You're going to feel you're going to feel the texture of it. The softer a yarn is, the shorter the staple length, which means the less durable it is. So the BFL has a long staple length, and which is just going to make it a more durable yarn for socks versus knitting a pair of socks in merino that has a super short staple length, and you are going to need the nylon to make it durable at all, or you knit it at a really tight gauge versus maybe picking a yarn that is more suitable for that type of project. And I think that this Le Garçon yarn would be perfect for that. So anyway, I'm really excited about that. I would really love to get that yarn. I'll fill you all in on this next time. Thanks for joining me. If I don't talk to you before Christmas, or whatever you celebrate, have a happy holiday. I love you. Keep making things because it just makes the world even more beautiful.